Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Instead of separating all these topics into different videos, which I'm too lazy to do, basically, I will be telling you guys all of the notable leaks we've gotten with the newly released 4.1 beta and some extra info that Anon has dropped, which holy fuck, can I speak, bro? Might help you all with your future polling plans, right? So, to start us off, I will be going through the Ashveil kit. He is a follow-up sub DPS, though as I thought, because this is a 4.x character and the last follow-up main DPS was in fucking 2.x, I do think that this guy can probably be ran main DPS pretty strongly, and his sub DPS capability is insane power creep, right? So, without any more talk, let's get straight into it. We have his skill. Marks one enemy as bait, dealing lightning damage equal to 300% of Ashveil's attack, with Ashveil gaining a charge. If the target is already marked as bait, additionally deals lightning damage equal to 100% of Ashveil's attack and recovers a skill point. When bait doesn't exist on the field, will automatically inflict bait on an enemy target with the lowest HP on field. The bait state only applies to the most recently marked target. When bait receives a killing blow, will automatically transfer to the lowest health enemy, right? Now here's the fat part. All enemies' defense is reduced by 40% when bait exists on the field, which is always, right? So this is very similar to actually Cypher's kit in the beginning. This is exactly what she did, was 40% defense down. However, later on, they ended up changing it to be vulnerability instead, right? So basically the same thing that kind of Cypher does, and he just puts 40% defense reduction on enemies by existing. Right. Next, we move on over here to the ultimate. Marks one enemy as bait, dealing lightning damage equal to 500% of his attack. Then immediately launches enhanced talent follow-up attack one time, gaining Ashveil to charge. This enhanced follow-up attack does not consume charge, and for every 4 stacks of gluttony possessed, will consume those 4 stacks to additionally deal lightning damage equal to 600% of Ashveil's attack. During the enhanced follow-up attack, if the original bait receives a killing blow and the stack of gluttony is 4 or more, Ashveil will continue to consume gluttony to deal damage to the new bait. This enhanced follow-up attack immediately ends after all enemy targets in the current field receive a killing blow. Talent. Ashveil starts with 3 charges, up to a max of 5. After bait is attacked by another ally, Ashveil consumes 1 charge to launch a follow-up attack against bait, dealing lightning damage equal to 360% of his attack, and subsequently gaining 1 stack of gluttony, stacking up to 12 times. Next, we have the bonus abilities. The first one is when Ashveil uses skill or ultimate, will gain 1 or 2 stacks of gluttony. During Ashveil's follow-up attack, whenever one enemy suffers a killing blow, Ashveil will gain a stack of gluttony. The second one, when an ally target launches a follow-up, increase the damage dealt by this follow-up attack by 80%. If the follow-up attack is launched by Ashveil, additionally regens 3 energy. The third one, while Ashveil is on field, all ally crit damage is increased by 40%, and crit damage dealt by ally targets' follow-up attacks increases by an additional 80%. Next, we have the stat bonuses, 37% crit damage, lightning damage boost, and as well as attack percent. Next, we have the Eidolons. Now, this is where shit gets kind of wild, right? This is one of the strongest E1s in the game, most comparable to probably Evernight. So, while Ashveil is on field, increases vulnerability on enemies by 24%, and if the enemy's current HP percentage is 80% or lower, this increases to 36% vulnerability. Yeah, right? And keep in mind, this is on all enemies. So, this shit is incredibly strong. Like, genuinely, it is incredibly strong. It's hard to stress it. This is a must pick up, in my opinion, if you're investing in this guy, right? After this, we have his E2. It increases the max stack of Gluttony from 12 to 18, and whenever Ashveil triggers a follow-up attack, it'll refund 35% of his Gluttony stacks. And then the E6, while bait exists on the field, reduce all enemies' res by 20%. For each stack of Gluttony Ashveil has gained, his damage dealt increases by 3%, and this stacks up to 30 times for a max of 90%. Really strong E6, right? Next, we have his Light Cone. Increases the wearer's crit rate by 18%. At the start of battle or for every 4 follow-ups, the wearer gains Umbra Devourer, lasting for 3 turns. While the wearer has Umbra Devourer, increases attack by 40% and reduces all enemy defense by 12%. And that's everything for Ashveil. So he is an incredibly strong follow-up sub DPS with incredibly strong debuffing capabilities and buffing capabilities, and his multipliers are so high that I imagine this is a astronomical buff for Fei Xiao teams, especially if you go into his E1 specifically, and he can probably be ran as main DPS as well. Right now, if you keep in mind what Anon said a little bit while back, I put out on my community post, Ashveil shouldn't get his best in slot main DPS until damn near the end of version 4, according to Anon. Right, so no, this guy isn't targeted towards Fei Xiao. He's actually targeted towards a future main DPS way farther in version 4. My guess is that it's probably going to be Aventurine SP, and we'll see how that ends up going. Right, so just want to let you guys know that about Ashveil, looking incredibly promising, really strong. Current best in slot team is probably with Fei Xiao. However, some are speculating that this guy might be so strong on his own that it's possible his hyper carry could be stronger, especially with stronger Eidolon investment as compared to some of these older characters. However, we'll have to wait and see for more on that. Right, I imagine E2 Dan Heng sustain with this guy specifically as a main DPS would go pretty fucking hard, but I know that's pretty expensive for people, right? Next, we got the 4.1 planar sets. So we have a Hunt one, which increases the wearer's crit rate by 18%. At the start of battle or for every 4 follow-up attacks used, wait, no. Oh, these are also the light cones. Sorry. These are the light cones. And then there's a Herda Shop Elation Cone coming in 4.1, which is this one. It'll increase the wearer's attack by 20, and after the wearer uses their skill or ultimate on one ally, increases the target's elation stat by 12% for 2 turns. So yes, we will be getting an Elation Herda Shop Cone in 4.1. Right. Next, we have the planar ornaments, which I meant to talk about earlier. We have increased the wearer's elation by 10%, and when the elation reaches 40% or 80 for the first time in battle, increases the wearer's crit damage by 20 or 30. Then you have City of Myriad Forms. When the wearer uses a follow-up, their attack increases by 24% for 2 turns, and when an enemy target is defeated, increases crit damage for all allies by 12% for the rest of the battle, and this effect cannot stack. So obviously this is meant for sub DPS Ashveil. If you know you run him in any team, you just get a quick crit damage buff on top of the 120% crit damage he already buffs for follow-ups anyways. I mean, it's something, right? Next, I don't remember if I covered this or not, but yes, Evanesia has been leaked as physical elation by Anon, and her preset team currently is Yao Guang and EMC and Huohuo. Now, I don't actually think Huohuo is going to be a mainstay in this team. She'll probably be replaced by a future Elation sustain. However, this is likely her best in slot team on release, which also means Sparxie probably will not be a sub DPS for Yao Guang, right? But if you remember, Anon said that Sparxie is a sub DPS and that is her role, so you know what that means, right? And here it is. SP Silverwolf charges her ultimate when teammates gain punchline. This was my original prediction. It's actually crazy I predicted this off the bat, right? When I read Sparxie's kit, was that her punchline generation being so high and Yao Guang seemingly doing no punchline generation at all was a sign to me that it would become a very important part in whatever team she'd be a sub DPS for. And that seems to be exactly the case here. SP Silverwolf has a gimmick ult like every AD main push does, which relies on punchline generation, which Sparxie does more than anybody else by an absolute fucking mile. So yes, this basically confirms Silverwolf's team will have Sparxie as the sub DPS. Now, I've seen people saying that, oh, this doesn't make sense. Wouldn't they run Sparkle with Sparxie for the SP positivity? I think they will make Silverwolf SP incredibly SP positive, and people may say this is cope. However, Sparxie cannot activate her full elation trace if you use anyone who isn't, like, if you use Sparkle, right? If you use Sparkle with Silverwolf SP and Sparxie, and there still isn't an elation sustained in the game yet, you are missing out on thrill generation from Sparxie, which allows her to use that in place of skill points when she uses her skill for punchline generation. So I don't think that Sparkle will be in this team. I do think Yao Guang will be best in slot, since she's like the most SP positive third slot in the game, by the way, for those who didn't know. And they will probably build this entire mono elation team, including Yao Guang, around SP positivity to allow Sparxie to use as many skill points as possible, right? I imagine Silverwolf obviously wouldn't be using skill points in return for this, right? So I do believe, yeah, that is everything we have. So Ashveil is a very strong and promising follow-up sub DPS who can probably be ran as main DPS. Strong buffing, strong follow-up attacks. If you've seen the leaks, very good animations, at least on ult. Some might find the rest underwhelming. He has a good future, especially since he's not going to get his best in slot team until near the end of version 4, and last DPS teams of a version are almost always good. Just look at Fei Xiao and Evernight, right? After that, we have, of course, the what's it called? The light cones. We have the planar ornaments. We have this entire Evanescia thing. Probably won't have Yao Guang as best in slot, I guess. And then, oh wait, no, she does, sorry. I'm stupid. She does have Yao Guang, but doesn't have Sparxie. And then we have basically soft confirmation that Sparxie will be best in slot for Silverwolf and the future mono elation team. Love you all. Let me know what your guys' thoughts is down in the comments. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.